Meanwhile, the Trades Union Congress has rescinded its plan to embark on an indefinite nationwide strike to demonstrate the opposition to the earlier plans by the administration to include pension funds in the debt exchange program. The union has also cautioned government against any future plans in this regard.
We have reached a deal that we think is in the interest of this country. There is no way that such a thing should happen again. We have promised them that we will continue to work together as social partners so that our country will get back to the stability that will benefit all of us. And we also like to thank the press for being with us. The way you carried through this demand has contributed enormously to government's position that we are announcing now. So we thank you very much for that. And I would like to thank all members of all organized labor groups. Because, you see, when we get to this level, without the support, we will fail. But we are here today because our members supported us. And we thank you very much for that support. We are hoping that government will continue to create a space for us to continue the engagement, to bring down inflation and to stabilize the country. Because without that, this achievement will even come to naught. We have to do that all together. On this note, I would like to officially inform our members that the intended strike we announced on the 19th has been called off. We will monitor the situation, and if we have to come back to you, we will. I would like to repeat that on the 27th, nobody should stay at home. Please go back to work, because our demand has been met. And the condition we gave ourselves was that if our demand is met, we will organize this press conference, and inform you. And that is why we are organizing this press conference. I would like to repeat that on the 27th of December, we are all going back to work. Nobody should stay at home. There is no strike. And we are very thankful to God for this.
Let's go to the phone lines now and speak to Thomas Esso, who is the Executive Secretary of the Chamber of Corporate Trustees. Mr. Esso, thank you very much for your time here on JoyNews Prime. And so this, I guess, must bring some relief to you, right? Mr. Esso, can you hear me? Well, we're working the phone lines to speak to the Executive Secretary of the Chamber Mr. Esso will join us shortly on the line for his reaction to the issue. The Chamber of Corporate Trustees, they have had to deal with their clients as far as this debt exchange program is concerned, and we're going to find out from them if this will bring some relief to them as far as business is concerned, and how they are positioning themselves going forward, because the finance minister indicated, as well as the labor and employment minister, that they're going to work together to find ways of plugging the holes in order to meet that 55% debt to GDP ratio. The mutual ways of exploring this is what is not yet clear to both parties, and we want to find out how they are positioning themselves. Mr. Esso, thank you very much for your time here on JoyNews Prime. As a chamber, I guess you were very much distressed given the position of Labour on this. This must bring some relief to you, I guess.
Thank you very much, and good evening to your listeners, and good evening to your viewers also. I think that as a chamber, it was our aim that the pension funds were totally refranked from the debt exchange program. That would be the best, even though at a point in time we wanted to negotiate for a better terms of in this debt exchange program. And then if today, by the concerted effort of the chamber and then organized labor, because we all try to speak the same language from different angles and different perspectives. If today we have received a total exemption of pensions from the debt exchange program, I think it's good news. Good news not only to the Chamber of Corporate Trustees, but good news to the vulnerable contributors to the pension fund, good news to organized labor, both public sector and private sector, and good news to the pension fund trustees, both private and corporate also. So I think it's a good news for all of us Ghanaians.
But going forward, how are you positioning yourself? First of all, as far as your engagement with your clients, whose monies you are holding is concerned, just so that there's not a run on your members, just because government has announced an exemption. Let's tackle that first.
Good, thank you very much. I think if there's total exemptions, what I understand that total exemptions to mean is that when coupons are due for payment, government is going to pay those coupons. And again, also, when bonds are matured and they are due for payment, government is going to pay those bonds also, the maturity values of those bonds also. Yeah. And therefore, without any other further explanation to what the exemptions mean, what we understand by this exemption is that coupons will be paid on time and maturities will also be paid on time. And that gives all of us contributors a bit of comfort that when at the time that you want to take your money, and then we have liquidity in terms of payment of coupons and maturities, then contributors can, when they are going on retirement, then we can comfortably also pay them their retirement funds. So I think it's good news, and it brings back the confidence that we anticipated that it's going to affect the industry. I think that confidence is coming back again to the industry.
Yeah, and the second aspect is about government saying it's going to explore mutually beneficial ways of managing this and plugging the loophole. Then again, beyond pension funds, you have other funds that sit with you. How are you positioning yourself going forward as far as this debt exchange program is concerned?
Yeah, thank you very much. I believe that before government came out with the decision, government and its technical team would have done their modelings and their simulations to see if pension funds are exempted, which other sectors or which other sectors that they can, areas that they can also touch to ensure that the country recover from this macroeconomic crisis and also attain debt sustainability level 55% to GDP and 80% to revenue. So I think government technical team would have done these computations already, and therefore they are aware of where they are going to do the necessary so that they can achieve the macroeconomic predictions that they are put on the stability. So this government have done that. I know that going forward, I think a lot of recommendations and suggestions have come to government about what they can do, and I think a lot of them have always been focusing on cutting down on expenditure, and I believe government would have taken that into their consideration, and they would have run their own numbers, and they would have find areas that if they cut maybe expenditure, that can help to the stability of the macroeconomy.
Well, that is what you're hoping, but we'll see how this pans out, and we'll be following it very closely. Mr. Thomas Esso, thank you very much for your time here on JoyNews Prime. He's the Executive Secretary of the Chamber of Corporate Trustees. Let's